This is my another episode of Windows and Memory Forensic series. We are resuming the event log forensic analysis with a forensic case study this time. If you haven't watched the first part yet, please click the link in the description box. A huge shout out for all of my viewers for giving me so much of love. Nothing have been possible without your support. Today's episode, we are not wasting any time, so there are a lot of things that we are going to cover this particular episode. So be it event log forensics, system event logs, application event logs, then security event logs, a lot of things that we are going to cover in this particular series. So without doing any further delay, I will go directly to my lab and I will start my working. So I hope the coffee is ready for you guys, and let's jump in. So guys, as we have discussed in our last episode, if you remember, I have received a call in the middle of the night, so from Sam. So Sam was telling me that there was an incident, and today's episode we are going to cover what was the actual incident and how we have investigated that incident. Okay, so let me fire up the case study first. What are the details of it? What are the things that we want to show you? Okay, so this is the case study in front of your screen, as you can see. So first, what we have received, and Sam, what he has received, he has observed one account creation alert on one CJ endpoint on of our monitoring tool. Now, when we say CJ, that could be like, we call it a crown jewel endpoint. So there, in some organization, there is some classification by which we call some sensitive storage information, sensitive instance of some similar kind of servers or endpoints. We classify them as sensitive. So we propagate them, and we hover around them, and we prepare a different plan and structure for monitoring those systems as such. Okay, so user creation alert, one of that CJ endpoint, is critical for us. Okay, now what Sam tried to do, Sam couldn't identify the details of which account actually got created on that machine. Now Sam knows that one account has been created in one of our CJ endpoint, but he doesn't know that what is the actual user that has been created on that machine. He has identified which machine it was. Okay, now Sam called the user to identify that if any storage sensitive data present on that user machine. So when we say that storage information like sensitive information, if he or she has stored any kind of password by which there has been an account created, or user is aware of any such activity or not. So Sam didn't get the response as such, that user was not having any such information about what user might have created, but she has some critical file information and storage information as well. So Sam grabbed that file for us. Okay, and that file was a PDF archive file, and that was not a PDF, sorry, it was a archive file. It was 7-zip folder or a zip folder, and it has password protected. Okay, now Sam first wanted to take a full machine dump of that machine, but he couldn't do that because the user on which, as we say, it's a CJ device. So there was some critical information related to our customer, and some high priority information was stored on that machine. So Sam couldn't take a full machine dump. So if you remember what I told Sam, to grab the event logs like application logs, security logs, system logs, Sam has collected all of the information and the registry dump as well. Okay, now we want to investigate using the previous tools that we have shown you in the last episode, LogParser, and the other features that we have explored in our last episode, how we can actually know what went wrong in the user machine and how it went wrong. Okay, so I will fire up my VM now, and I will show step by step process, what the process, and how actually we have identified that classified information. Okay guys, so I am logged in my virtual machine now, and if you remember from our previous episode, So we have done a couple of things using our Fixit software. We have parsed some of our, we have tried to parse some of our files. And what I did before recording this episode for you guys, so these are all the bad events that was actually partially corrupted. These files I have received from Sam, and these are the good files. So I have used the same technique. If you are not familiar with this technique, I would encourage you to go back to my previous episode. You will find the link in the screen now, which is coming right up, and you can check that out. Okay. So what I will do now, I will directly start up my log parser. Okay. So in the last episode, we have tried to fire up the log parser using the command prompt directly from CMD application. But in this episode, we are going to do a little bit of different thing. So we are starting log parser exe as such, and this is a command prompt anyway. So the initial starting of the command will be somehow different, but the other things will be same. Okay. So now, what are the first thing that we want to do? So if you remember, the case study is that the one user has been created. Okay. So now we need to find out from this, like good events, and obviously it will be a security event. The sec event means a security event. Okay. So we need to find out like what security events is the Windows ID correspondent to user account creation. Okay. So for the ease of this recording and the episode, so I have created my commands already. So what I am gonna run in this episode. So do not worry. So I'll go one by one. Okay. So so this is like the same as we did, but we are not going to use this one. Like, so we are simply call log parser. Okay, in this for this tutorial, and this is quite same as previous one. Now what we are trying to do, we are trying to search everything from the security event, and where the event ID is 624. Now this machine on which lab Sam has given me the logs, it's an old version of Windows. So old version of Windows, it's 462, like 642 is the event ID for which user ID creation we can identify. Okay, so what we are gonna do, we are simply copying this portion. Okay, and I'll go back to here. I will call log parser, as you can see here in the screen. So this is the example. Okay, so we will call log parser. Okay, and I will paste that command. Okay, let's see what it gives. Okay, so I am assuming that it will give me all of the security events that the user might have been created on that machine. Okay, now as you can see here, okay, so I have got the exact event which is actually telling me that a user has been created on the machine, and that was one alert. Okay, now if you remember, Sam couldn't identify what is the username, but here nothing is masked. Okay, so we can see here, but somehow the log is like seems to be really not formatted properly. There could be some options by which we are not able to identify what's happening. So by selecting this star, we are selecting anyway everything. Okay, but if we want to exactly know what is the username and when at what time it has created, so we can run another command. Okay, so before doing that, let me fire up my service prompt as well, service manager, because if you remember from our last episode, the event viewer and the event Windows event log service keep on failing and keep on stopping while we are working on this log parser tool. Okay, so I will start with that. So we will start with that just to identify and to format the log in the way that we want it. Okay, so we are gonna run this particular command. So forget about this portion anyway, it will be same as the previous one. So we are going to select this one, where let's just see that what exactly we have captured in this one. So we have captured time generated. That means we will know which time the user has been created on the machine. Now, and we are calling it as time. So this is the actual event and the table column ID. We are renaming at time. So it's quite simple if you are familiar with writing SQL symbols and other things. Okay. So next thing we are typing the event type name, strings as user. So this string information is quite a big one. Okay, so it will capture and it will give us the actual user information, then forwarded by user SID and some other fields as well. Okay, so we are taking it as a user and the computer name on which computer it is getting created. Okay, so let us run that and let us check that what are the things. Okay, let me clear my screen. Okay, before even doing that, we need to run log parser. Okay, log parser. Then I just need to select this option. Do not worry, I will give this commands to you anyway. Okay, now you see the log format and the type is like quite structured way, and the way these are the fields that actually we need for this investigation. Other fields we do not require as of now. Okay, so as you can see here, the time. Okay, so this is the time when the user when the actually this user has been created on the machine. Okay, event type we know, and this event type is a subset audit event. So that means the user has been successfully created on the machine. Okay, and what is exactly it is doing, the username we can see help desk. Okay, and as we told you that there could be some other information like the full SID, then other fields like the this is actually the system name by which the user has been created. Obviously it will be admin user. This is the computer name. Okay, and this is the prefix information. So as you can see, the same information is populating here as the computer name as well. Okay, now we know that which user has been created and at what time it has been created on the machine. Okay, now if you want to drill down and do the further thing that okay, I want to check that more further way that okay, these are the queries, these are the things that the user is doing. So let's see what could be our next step. So when a user has been created, we need to understand and we need to find if the user has anywhere logged in on the machine. If yes, then when. So for that, I am trying to run this query. Okay, so this is same anyway. So let's see what I am trying to fetch in this command. So select star, because to start with any command, I prefer to use star because I don't know what are the table column information. Okay, so I'll select start, means I want to select everything. Okay, so next, what are the things that is coming up here? Select star from the same path anyway, where event ID is 528 or for 540. So if you check the Microsoft documents, 528 or 540 both are both registered for successfully event logon. Okay, so let us run this and let us see if we find anything. Okay, so I am expecting we will see anything. Okay, so we'll see a lot of logs, but still let's see. Okay. Okay, so here I have done some mistake. Okay, so this thing, event ID or this one, so I need to mention event ID is 528 or event ID is, so as you can see here, the below command. Okay, so I am gonna remove it. I don't need this one. I will run this one. Okay. So this is like basic syntax error in SQL. It can populate anytime, and this is the base of doing the R&D for the everything that okay. So if this is not working, what else can work? Okay. Okay. So anyway, I have selected everything. I have ran a one step forward. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. So anyway, it's better looking. Okay, so let's see what actually we are trying to do here. Okay, so first thing, we are selecting strings. If you go back and if you check our previous commands, so string was our user. Okay, time generated at when what time the user was like created, but this time generated field depending on the event ID. Okay, so for 528 540 is the event ID again for system login. So the login time would be when the user first log into the machine. Okay, so it is giving us a lot of users. Okay, now if you notice here, there is a user called help desk. Okay, it's negotiate and it's user 32, and if you notice here, the user login time is this. Okay, so this we need in this investigation. Okay, so what I am gonna do, I am gonna simply open up maybe a sticky note. Okay, so always remember that or we can open up a notepad plus plus as well. Always remember that whatever things that we are going to investigate and what are the things that we are actually identifying by this information, we need to store it and we need to write it down everything. Okay, so that thing is called that. Okay, that thing is basically the understanding or the other stuff that by which you can later point of time you can create your own report of investigation and the forensic other things purpose. Okay, okay, so survey I don't need. I'll create this one and I'll open up a new tab. Okay, so this is my start time. Start time means the login. Okay, so login, user has logged into the machine at this point of time. Now we know that. Okay, okay, so our next command, as you can see, we are going to run this one. Okay, so let me tell you what are the things. So we are again selecting the same fields from the previous one as we have selected. This time we are adding another where clause where we want to only see those usernames where help desk keyword is present, and strings is the column value for the user field. Okay, so let us try it out and let us see if anyway we identify something or not. Okay, okay, so far my event log is running. I am hoping that I won't get any error, but let us try it out. Okay, let me clear my screen and this one. Okay, as you see it's error, so I'll go back and I'll restart my event service. It's now done and I will run the same command. Okay, so now you see I am able to see only that event where my help desk is present. Okay, so for the time being, what I am gonna do, I am gonna just copy this SID because I might need this in latter point of time. Okay, so not here, this one. Okay, this one just to remember is the SID for the help desk user. Okay, now, what next? What we need to identify what time the user might have logged off. So, by doing that, what actually we are trying to infer here, the time between this help desk user was active on the user machine, what might have the user has tried to do on his machine. Okay. So later we will see that in a minute. So first let us check out that when the user has logged off from that machine. Now, for doing that, just we need to change the event ID. Okay, so previous event ID was 528 540 and this one will be 538. Okay, so the same query we are going to run and we are selecting a couple of fields for our own need and ease of showing us in the command prompt, and we are going to see this time only the user where this help desk keyword is present. Okay, so let me again restart this one because it's keep on stopping. Okay, so I am hoping this will give me the correct result. Okay, now, okay, so what I have done a mistake here, I have anyway written his here a login time. So what it will do, it will be not login time, it will be logout time. Okay, because the event ID is different. Okay, so let us run that command once again. Anyway, so it doesn't matter, just for ease of your understanding, because you might get confused. So I know what exactly it means, but you might get confused. Okay, now logout time. Okay, so this time, at this time, user has logged off from the machine and it was a success audit event. Okay, as you can see here. So computer name is the same and SID is also same. So now let us copy this information and let us check that this is our logout time. Okay, so the user, as you can see here, the user was active almost like 5 minutes on the system. Now it's very crucial for us to identify what the user has done in this time interval. Now you can ask me the same question, and you can ask me again that why I am even using LogParser, why I can't do this all this searching and everything using simply event viewer. We can do that, and now even for checking the other logs we were gonna run up and we are gonna hit the event viewer as well. But when you have no information at your hand and you need to identify something, and by running the query simply via event viewer, it will be a searching a needle in the haystack. It will be a lot of information. You will get overwhelmed by the information, and you will know that what are the things that you are gonna searching. So SQL query and giving that kind of information somehow gives us that inference that okay, these are the set of information we need, and these are the set of information we have in our hand. So that somehow is our searching process. That is the reason that we are using this log parser. Okay. Okay, so now the next thing that we are going to check, we know what time user has logged in, what time the user has logged off from the machine. Now let us check that. What time in this time interval what the user has done in the machine. So we can identify that from. I think I have opened the logs. Okay, security event, we have already investigated. Now system event, so let us see that what are the system events and if we identify something. So we can do that via the log parser as well, but for this episode I am just trying to show you that what are the different ways by which you can investigate the same manner. So we have investigated the security event from the log parser, but for this time let us understand and let us see that what are the same things that we can even do using event viewer. Okay, so now uh, this is one system event, and one thing also we can understand. Okay, system event, let me try to open up this application event as well. Okay, so by which we know we will be able to understand what are the things that has been done on the user machine. Okay. Okay, so application thing is there, and I have my system event running in here. Now, if we consider that, if you see the, it just let me short the time and date information. So this is only one event which is coming in between my this start time means login time and logout time, right? So, and as you can see, this is MSI installer. So that means uh, the user which was logged in on that particular time has tried to install something. So if you go back and if you check what is the product that is trying to be installed on this particular time, if you see here product web something XP configuration completed successfully. So that means this time the configuration of the MS installer got successfully in this machine. Now, if we try to identify the other details of the machine, that whether this is actually the done by the user or not, or maybe we can also find out that this might user might be something else also, right? So as you can see here, if you come here and if you notice here, the user ID is the same what we have seen for our this user ID, right? So we remember this user ID for our help desk user. But now as you can see here, this user ID has done or completed the installation process of this program on this machine at this very time when the user was logged in. So we know that one in inference we can draw out of it, user has installed something. Okay, so we do not see any other application event as such in the same time interval, but we can again go back to our system event and we can check what are the other activities. Might have user might have not installed anything, okay, but might have user has done some other things. Okay, so now if we short here, so this is, by the way, the system event logs, okay? So what we are going to do here, we are going to short this event by the date and time information, okay? So I have shorted it. Now, if you notice, so let us check back when the user has logged in, not this one. Okay, so 24, okay, and 29. These are the two events. So 24. So this is the first event which is actually coming in the in between login and logout time and all these logs. Okay, this, and this. Now this is the system error log, so we don't need to bother about this one. But this is something informational log. Okay, service control manager, and notice if you see here, Windows installer service was successfully sent a start control. So that means at this point of time, there was a signal sent from the device. If you notice, the device is already same. If you go here, if you go the details page, I am assuming we will have the user ID. So this user ID is different. Now we can argue that why this user ID is different, because we have observed the application event, the same user ID, right? But when a user tries to install something on the machine, the this event, which is 7035, it's a kind of, you can say that a command, or like an instruction to the operating system, or uh, the admin user or the system user as such, that okay, I have given you the command, now install this bloody thing. So obviously that is the reason we have seen the event ID something different. Okay, so now we know that there was an installer service was sent, the command was sent. This is, as you can see, Windows installer service entered into running state. So this is the thing when the service actually started running, and this is service installer start entered into stop state. So these are the three events, and if we try to correlate with this, this application event information which has ended this time, and let me copy this because I might need this information as well. Okay, so now we have identified that user has logged in this time, user has logged out this time, and in this time interval, user has tried to execute and user has tried to install this particular application. Okay, now the question arises. So we didn't identify anything else the user has done on the machine. Now the question might arise that how the user has even the help desk user has even created on the machine. Now, so for that reason, I went back to Sam and I inquired him the same query. So Sam went back to the user and asked that whether the user has the admin privilege on the machine. That was a yes. And if you remember, Sam collected some encrypted file on the machine information, which user claims that it could be some sensitive information, but user didn't clarify what the information is actually be. Okay, so we have collected that information as well. So for this information purpose, try to let us try to check what are the things that might have been present there, if that is anyway related to this investigation that we are doing or not. Okay, let us try to extract. Okay, now you see there is a password protected. So that is the reason the user was saying that no one can check my secret files. There is a secret files where I have storing something, but it's protected, it's copy protected. Okay, but we know this kind of storage file and this kind of thing is really like crackable. So let us do that. Okay, so I have a software which I have downloaded from internet. So if you need this software, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to post the binary file. Okay, so what I am trying to do here, I am just trying to brute force the zip file. Okay, so it might gonna take some time, but definitely worth of trying to identify that what could be the information present on the machine. Okay, so I will try with this alphanumeric option. So let us try it and let's run it. Okay, so it will keep on running on background. So when it's done, we can check back. Okay, so now in the meantime, we have identified a lot of stuffs. Okay, so what else we can do? If you remember, we have another thing also present in the machine. What actually can give us inference that if there is anything, or the software that particularly got installed on the machine, if it has another footprint, or it is doing something else, some other activity on the machine or not as well. Okay, so now, as you can see, I have opened up the file, that the hex and the other files, which is my actually the registry hive in my Notepad++. Okay. Now what I can do, first thing, whenever you are doing any investigation, the first thing you always need to check the run keys. Okay. So first I will check the run as key. So if I go here and if I check here, so I don't see any like much information about it. Okay. So let me try out and let me check what are the other things present in this machine. Okay. Find all in current documents. So there are a lot of run keys. Now if you come here and if you see, I am seeing the actual run as keys. Okay, so these are some of my run as keys. So if I just go here, okay, run as, so nothing is, it's looking like a shell command. There is something happening on the machine, shell run as. Okay, this attribute, this hex value looking interesting to me. So I might want to go back and I might check why there is a run as, there is a hex value present in the run as command. Okay. Next thing I want to check. So this is the same thing, shell. Okay. So I don't see anything. These are run as exe. So that is fine. So I find one interesting stuff in my run as key. So that could be somehow related to my investigation, what I have been doing, but decoding this hex thing as other things is out of the scope for this episode. But this is the, the identification purpose, how actually you can go and deep dive to this file as well. So I will post future videos where we will try to explain the other stuffs using full registry forensics. We can try to cover up that way as well. But for this episode, first let us try to identify very minimal things which can actually relate to this information and investigation. Okay, so I am trying to identify the run keys as well. Okay, so there anyway, so there will be a lot of run values that will be present, as you can see here. So I am trying to identify my run keys. Okay, so you can directly you can directly copy paste the run key information from this file as well. Okay, but it is worth to identify what are the other fields also available in that in the registry hive that is actually matching with the run. Okay, so we are seeing a lot of information as run. Okay. Yeah, so this is one run file. As you can see, this is one run key and this is another run key, current version Windows. So I do not see anything suspicious going in the run key. Okay, so that is fine, but we have identified something in run as. Okay, so that means the user might have been doing something on the user machine, right? Now, the next thing, if you remember that we have, identified what is the program file that has been installed on the machine. So now let us try to check that out, and if we identify something related to that. Okay, I'll search it. Okay, now interestingly, I am seeing a lot of things. So product name. So let me go back and check here what is actually thing is doing. So okay, so if you consider here and if you see, this is the installer key. Okay, and this is the product name and the product version. So that means it is, this file is particularly telling me this program has been successfully installed on the machine, nothing else. Okay, if we come here and if we check back the next file, so there might be something else also that might be present on the user machine as well. Let us try to find out that. Okay, display name. Now where it is coming from? Okay, system32. Okay, this is interesting. Now if you see here, install properties, and if you remember, this is the exact system ID, SID, by which the user this particular command has been given. Now reg company something else, helpline something else. Now you see display name is something Windows, some the same information that has been installed. Now why an information need to be present in installer source system32? That is really suspicious for me. So now this file, from this all this information what I am seeing right now, this is really telling me that this particular display name, it's trying to hide something on the system32 machine and trying to impersonate something. So it is trying to give as much as information possible. And if you see, it is also telling it's Microsoft Corporation Publisher. Okay, so we don't even know what is this file. So if there is any option to grab that file information and grab that file into from user machine, definitely we will do that in next like in next steps, or in next investigation purpose. Okay, now let us check back what are the other things that is present. So this display name, where it is coming from. Okay, this display name is coming from another hex value, it seems. Okay, uninstall keys. This is interesting. So software Microsoft Windows current version uninstall. Display name C program files Java, java.exe. So I got you got the vibes already, right? What is happening in this machine? So I identified that uh, the file has been installed on the machine. It has been attached to a file name within system32, and now there is a legitimate file which is getting uninstalled from the machine, which has an alias name of Java. Okay, so that means this particular file is trying to uh, impersonate itself as a Java file. And it is also, if you check here, there is an uninstall key also present, and this is the so same location. So Microsoft Corporation, again same thing. So the file is getting installed and it is present in the uninstall key as well. Okay, so we never know who has uninstalled this application, because in the same time interval by this help desk user we didn't identify that. So that is suspicious for us. Why the user who has installed that program hasn't uninstalled that, and it has tried to paste itself in system32 folder. Okay, really suspicious thing. So in the next step we might need to identify what is this actually file doing by grabbing an image or by grabbing a sample of that file, because grabbing a full disk image is out of scope. We cannot do that. Okay, now let us go back to our brute forcer. It is still running, as you can see. It might take some time, and we might get a really interesting clue by which we can identify that what are the other things that could be related to this file. Okay, so let us wait for some time and we will come back when this is finished. So now if you notice here, our cracker has successfully got the password and it is showing it's cat9. So let us see and let us check back if we are able to decrypt this particular zip file using that particular password. Okay, so extract, and I will paste cat9. Okay, I hope it is okay. So it is getting successfully captured. There is another password. I am hoping this doesn't have anything. Let us check back. Okay. Okay, it can decrypted now, and let us see back what is inside that. Save secret. Okay, there is a hash value. Okay, so let us open what is this hash value. Now, if you see, this something looks like a NTLM password hash value. So I am assuming that user gave us this file, okay, and this is looking like a NTLM hash value. Now, user might have stored some of his password or something using multiple encryption level and multiple encrypting mechanism, and he has stored his hash value. Now this is not a way like a big deal to crack this NTLM hash value as well. So we can use hashcat to run a rainbow table and run a match to break that as well. So I'm keeping that out of the scope of this investigation. Plus, because it will take some time, again my CPU usage and something, right? So if you are interested, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to create another episode especially on hashcat. Okay. So another thing is like there is a user dat file also present. I am not sure what is this dat file, but let us open that in my notepad. So whatever we have captured so far, that user has stored his credential, login credential on the machine. Um, See, there is user dat admin at the rate something. So I am assuming this could be some kind of password. Okay. And this password can be supplied to decrypt the NTLM hash value as well. So we are not sure. We haven't tried that yet. Okay. So we can do that anyway. So so far what we have uncovered from the investigation, that user has saved one password. Maybe it has a multiple level of encryption, doesn't really matter. So from that, there could be an instance on phishing emails or anything. So we are currently assuming that, because the initial propagation vector is still unknown for us with the set and limited scope of information we have captured or we have in our hand, right? So but what has happened, we know that after the user got access to the actual user password and username, okay, the credential as such. So what he's done, the attacker has created a username help desk. He has logged in using that help desk user. He has installed one application from that machine, and he has uninstalled some application as well, from Java, something, some legitimate application. And that particular application, which actually the attacker has installed, has a property or capability to remove some of the legitimate files and get attached, that we have observed from the registry files, to a particular to some legitimate files on system 32. So we have observed all this information, what is the event propagation, event flow, only from the log forensics. We haven't identified and we haven't captured any other information so far. Okay. So I hope you have learned something, and if you have enjoyed how there are different ways of analyzing the logs from our first episode, the full investigation flow. If you have received some event, if it is corrupted, how you can repair the event. Then we have observed how you can actually parse the event using LogParser. Even in this episode, we have shown you that how even you using the LogParser, you can actually identify what is wrong in this machine, what is happening in this actual machine, right? Next, we have observed how actually you can use event viewer to do the same task, but it's a difficult way rather than using log parser. And we have identified what the user has done on the machine. Okay, so please let me know in the comment section if you have any query related to the use case of this, if you need any further help related to this particular episode, and if you have any feedback for me, I'll be really happy to help you guys. And if there is anything that I can do, please let me know. If any suggestion for next my episodes or anything, please feel free to fill the comments and let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you. And please do not forget to subscribe my channel so that you get notified as soon as I upload a new video related to the FIR topics and various other things. Okay, and please give me a thumbs up so I get encouraged by your like. Okay, so I hope you have learned something at least using this and previous my episode. So meanwhile, if there is anything, like, you can watch out my other playlist as well, so like malware event forensics and the other videos that I have made on memory forensics volatility as well. And please let me know if you have any query. Okay, so thanks for watching.